What's up, vinyl community and YouTube land? It is Kendall Stokes coming at you with another video for the Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem YouTube channel. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different, something I haven't done in a while, but I would do a themed video. Instead of showing you a bunch of records that I picked up recently, I thought I would just do a video about something, a theme. And today's theme, as you can tell if you clicked on the video, is guilty pleasure artists or bands or records or whatever. So I want to start this video off with a preface of saying I think the term guilty pleasure is kind of oxymoronic, because honestly you shouldn't feel guilty about listening to music that you like. I think we kind of hear or feel that we get away, or I don't know how I want to say it, but we tend to hear of a band or a song or a genre of music and we give people a hard time for liking that genre or artist or song. And why? We listen to things that we like because we like it. What does it matter what somebody else thinks about it? Yeah, it's fun to give somebody a hard time for liking something that maybe we don't like, but if that person likes it, that's their prerogative. It's up to them if they want to like it. I can tell you, I've gotten some comments about some of my videos for some of the records I've shown, and I've seen other people do the same thing. They comment really hard on people's channels for liking certain records or certain bands or whatever. And I'm guilty of giving people a hard time. Most of the time it's as a joke. I mean, like I'll give my daughters a hard time for liking Harry Styles or Taylor Swift or whatever, but it's on good fun. I'm glad that they have artists that they like. I'm glad that they like something. I'm glad that they put the effort in. It's better than doing something wrong. So these artists and bands and albums that I'm going to show are what we would consider my guilty pleasures, even though I don't feel guilty for liking these. My wife might try to give me a hard time for liking these, and it is what it is. It's part of our relationship. She gives me a hard time for liking country music as well. Oh well, I don't have any country music in here, but it is what it is. But I just want to get into these artists, and these are artists that I know a lot of people like, but I also know that sometimes people get a lot of flack for liking these artists. And so now that I've ranted on for a few minutes, these are, like I said, bands and artists and groups that I think kind of get a lot of flack sometimes from other people. So let's get right into it. The first one I'm going to show is this one right here, and it is The Carpenters. Whoops. I did not realize that was on there. Hold on. The Carpenters. This right here is their greatest hits record, or what's it actually called? Is it called The Singles? Yeah, 1969 to 1973. It's on that AM label. This is actually in really, really great condition. It's got the hype sticker there, as you can see. This was actually given to me by my good friend Doug Osbury. But the Carpenters, Karen Carpenter, an amazing singer. She had just a great voice. She was actually a really good drummer too. But I think sometimes they get looped in the whole, oh, you like the Carpenters? Ew, so what? They had a lot of big hits, stuff you hear on the radio still today. Just to name a few: Ticket to Close to You, We've Only Just Begun, Superstar, Top of the World, just to name a few. And like I said, she had a beautiful voice and just just so soft and yet just so almost perfect, honestly. But this is a great sounding record too. Actually, if you haven't watched David Bianco's channel, The Sound of Safe in Texas Audio Excursion, he actually does. He talks about this record and the quality of it. I would encourage you to seek that out. But this is a great record, and like I said, it's got all the hits, all the stuff that you want to hear. But when I think of the Carpenters, I think of the movie Tommy Boy. And if you haven't seen it, you should. It's a hilarious movie. Chris Farley and David Spade. But there's that scene where they're in the car and they're listening to the radio, and I think REM, The End of the World's playing, and they're singing and all that stuff. But the song Superstar comes on, and they're like, lame. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. They're like, you can change it if you want. Only if you want to. Oh, I'm cool with it if you are. And then it like skips and it gets to the chorus, and they're both like just singing it so hard, like, don't you remember? It's just hilarious. But so many of their songs, people, again, that's what I'm talking about. They both were like, oh, it's lame, oh my gosh. But then what happens? They're both singing it at the top of their lungs. That's that whole guilty pleasure thing, You don't need to feel guilty about liking that kind of stuff. And I don't feel guilty about liking this record and liking the Carpenters. So that's my first one. Again, ranting on. Next, another one I got here is The Best of Bread. Bread's another one of those artists that I think kind of fall into that, oh, you're lame if you like listening to Bread, because a lot of their stuff sounds the same, very soft, rock sounding, although kind of their early stuff was a little bit harder, to be honest with you, but most of their hits came when they were very soft and stuff. But a lot of good sounding, just very good songwriting. A lot of good stuff on here. I like that kind of stuff. This is not a very expensive record. I actually picked this up in like one of the dollar bins, and some really good stuff on here. Make It With You, Diary, Baby I'ma Want You, It Don't Matter to Me, If, some just classic, really good love song stuff, I guess you would say. But Bread, again, 70s, late 60s, just good classic soft rock, I guess you would say. But again, I don't feel bad about liking this kind of music. It's not what my friends in high school would have probably been caught dead listening to. And maybe it's because I was very heavily influenced by my parents, my mom especially. She listened to this kind of music all the time, and I don't mind it. It's nice to just kind of relax and listen to this kind of stuff. But Best of Bread, I would encourage you to seek that one out. It's not an expensive record. Next, again, another one I would say that I was influenced by my mom. But this is Bette Midler. Yeah. And this isn't one that this isn't The Rose. This isn't, what's that one? This isn't one of the ones that you would typically see. But the reason I chose this one is because I remember growing up, my mom used to sing quite a bit. She used to play the guitar and play the piano. Matter of fact, when she was pregnant with me, I know she played the guitar a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love the guitar so much, because, when you're in the womb and you have somebody holding a guitar up to their belly, you feel those vibrations. But anyway, I remember being a kid and she had the sheet music to this, and that's a picture that stands out to you when you're a kid. That red hair, that red curly hair. But the song from this album, some people's lives, that always stood out to me was From a Distance. And Bette Midler has just an amazing voice. She always had. And I remember my mom having the sheet music to this and that song From a Distance, and I remember her playing it and and singing it all the time. And so this one always has a soft place in my heart. This is actually, I bought this record, it was still sealed. So I opened it myself. It's the first pressing. It's on the Atlantic label. But I always have a soft place in my heart for this record because of my mom having that sheet music and playing it and learning it and all that stuff. So, guilty pleasure. Sorry, I like Bette Midler. I think she's got an amazing voice. She has a lot of other great songs out there, a lot of other great albums, but this one just will always kind of be close to my heart because of being a kid and, my mom. So, yep, guilty pleasure. Sorry. Now this one here, I don't know what to say, but Tom Jones I think is great. I think he is a very great singer. He's a little over the top, obviously, as this picture right here will show. But he's Welsh, and he was a big deal in the 60s and 70s. To me, he's a big deal now still. But he had a great voice. He put on a show. He's still around today, actually. But he growing up in the 90s, watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, obviously, is really how I was introduced to Tom Jones. Seeing Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air do his, now what we call the Carlton dance, too. It's not unusual. That's how I was introduced to him. That's on here. It's not unusual. But he also had so many other great songs. Pull this thing out because this whole record here, this is his greatest hits. I'll Never Fall in Love Again is, I think, so good. What's New Pussycat? His cover of Green Green Grass of Home is actually my favorite version of that song. Such a good song. She's a Lady, Delilah, so good. Daughter of Darkness. He also does a version of he did Thunderball for one of the Bond movies. If you can do a song for a Bond movie, that's pretty awesome. My wife, Lindsay, she said when she was living in Vegas, she had the opportunity. She was walking out of one of the record stores there, and he was doing a signing out front. She just walked by, didn't really care, didn't think anything of it. I'm like, you could have gotten an autograph from Tom Jones and you didn't. She's like, he's there all the time. I'm like, I don't care, it's Tom Jones. So this last artist I'm going to show, to me, they might not be on some people's lists, and they probably shouldn't be, but the Bee Gees. This right here is their timeless, their all-time greatest hits. The Bee Gees, people give them a lot of flack because of disco, and they were so much more than disco, because they were around before disco. Actually, they just happened to step into that disco spotlight. But before disco, they actually were around and had written many great songs. That's what a lot of people probably don't realize, and if you do, great. They wrote all of their songs. And they had a lot of number one hits before, during, and after disco. Songs like To Love Somebody, which is one of my all-time favorite songs, by the way. And the version of Gary Puckett and Union Gap doing that song is my all-time favorite, and I cannot find that in vinyl format. So if anyone knows or has that, please let me know. I would love to get a copy of that. I have Gary Puckett's Greatest Hits on vinyl, but it's not on that. So if anyone has like a 45 or an album that has it on there, please let me know. I have it on CD and in digital, but I don't have a copy on LP. Not to say that the Bee Gees don't do a good version, but that song's been covered by so many people. As to say, so many of their other songs have been too. Songs like Massachusetts, I've Got to Get a Message to You, I Started a Joke. I mean, those are just great songs. And then we get into the disco. Jive Talkin', You Should Be Dancing, How Deep Is Your Love, Staying Alive, of course, Night Fever, More Than a Woman, Too Much Heaven. I mean, the list goes on and on how great these songs really are. But again, people just go off of the whole disco thing. But you know what? Disco music's fun. I like disco music. And so did the Foo Fighters. That's an original I still have. That record right there is super expensive right now. But people can make fun of it all they want, but people still listen to it. Saturday Night Fever is one of the best-selling albums of all time. It's probably the best-selling soundtrack of all time, I think. But the Bee Gees were very, very talented. Like I said, they wrote all their stuff. I enjoy them, and it's fun music. Funny story. So most people know I have 3 daughters, 2 of which came from my wife's previous marriage. But when we first got married, one was in middle school and one was in elementary school, and we went to go pick the one up in middle school. And my wife is very fun. She tries to embarrass the girls all the time. It's just something she would try to do all the time. And so we were driving to go pick them up, and they're outside. We're in line and all that stuff. So I thought, okay, well, let's do this. We had the windows rolled all the way down, the sunroof open, and I turned the radio up as loud as I can, playing the Bee Gees, and I'm playing the disco Bee Gees. So that way everybody outside can hear it, everybody in line can hear it, and we're just blaring it. And my wife's going, "Hey, Rissa, blah, 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 blah," trying to make sure everyone knows who we're there to get. So, but you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be afraid to say, "Hey, I'm a Bee Gees fan." I'm not. I tell people all the time, I love the Bee Gees. I'm not afraid to say that I love the Bee Gees. So there's another one of them. And the last one I'm going to show, I saved this one for last because I figured if anything, this will be where people, if they haven't already stopped watching my video, this will be for sure where they've stopped watching my video. And I showed this record in a couple videos ago, but it's Creed. Creed's Greatest Hits. I picked up a few weeks ago. Creed gets a bad reputation. I don't know why. They sold millions upon millions of records in the early 2000s. They sold out everywhere they went. They were on the radio constantly, on MTV constantly. I like Creed. I will say it again, I like Creed. They're not around anymore. Scott Stapp is out doing his thing. The other guys are in Alter Bridge now. Maybe they'll get back together again. They did back in like 2009 till 2012. They released another album and they toured and all that stuff. Whatever. I think this is good music. If you don't, I'm sorry. I don't know why. Apparently at one time people did. I still think they do. They're just afraid to admit it. But these songs are catchy. They sound good. Great guitar playing. Mark Tremonti is an amazing guitar player. This is good music. It still sounds good today. I listened to this recently again, and I'm like, man, those songs are catchy. They sound good. The guitar playing sounds good. The vocals still sound good. What's wrong with liking Creed? Please tell me. Leave me a comment. Please let me know what's wrong with liking Creed. I want to know. What's wrong with liking any of these bands? Please let me know. What's wrong with liking any of these albums? Please let me know. Leave me a comment. Please leave me a comment, leave me a like, share this video, do whatever you want. I want to know what's wrong with liking any of these artists. Also, please let me know what some of your guilty pleasures are as well. What are some bands that you think are guilty pleasure bands, or albums that you think are guilty pleasure albums? Leave me a comment and let me know. Leave me a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel if you would. If not, I get it. I appreciate all of you that have subscribed and have liked and commented in the past. I appreciate all of those that watch. Thank you guys for continuing to stay with me. I'm hoping 2023 will be a good year. Peace. Love you guys. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.